Hey, Facebook, it's Elizabeth Nader with New Jersey Women for Trump. Happy to be back with you again tonight. We are not only on New Jersey Women for Trump, we are also on New Jersey Republicans, Make New Jersey Red, Reform New Jersey GOP, and a whole host of other pages. And I thank you to all of those pages for letting us come on tonight live. Some of you are already on replay, so tell us where you're watching from. And as the rest of you join us, I'm excited to bring you tonight a newcomer to the New Jersey governor race as of today, Phil Rizzo. Phil, welcome to New Jersey Women for Trump.
Good evening, Elizabeth. Thank you for having me on. It's been a busy day, and this is a great place to, almost wind down the day.
Yeah, I can imagine you probably had quite a busy day. I heard your announcement this morning on Spadia. I appreciate you coming on short notice to tell us what you're doing. We did talk to you back in, I think it was December, early January, about your activities in terms of getting people on board of education and all of that. And you hinted at the time at a possible run. I was guessing state senate, but here you are, you came out all the way with governor. So tell us why you decided to do that.
Well, as I have a real estate business and I pastor, I have a pretty good cross section of New Jersey, understanding what people are feeling. I just understood we're feeling somewhat desperate, a lot of fear, a lot of injustice. And if we're going to make a serious impact in New Jersey, I felt that I would have the biggest impact in that office. And I feel I'm well qualified, having run my own business for a number of years and pastoring two different churches, dealing with people on different levels. I feel like I'm ready to bring a positive message to the state of New Jersey, to bring healing and hope for the fight that's ahead of us.
Okay, so some people know you. I know in certain circles, there are a lot of people who've been following you, but some are just meeting you for the first time. So give them a little more detailed background on who is Phil Rizzo.
Sure, I am born and raised right here in New Jersey. I'm raising my family here. I have a wife and 4 children. We've lived in Sussex and Morris County, and I have a real estate business. I'm a 3rd generation real estate developer, and we've built houses throughout northern New Jersey. And then back in 2012, we started a church in Hudson County. And so for almost a decade, we've been bivocational, which means I have 2 jobs. I am paying bills through my real estate business, but serving people through the ministry. And now I am winding down my construction business right now. I've taken a leave of absence from my church because this office needs to understand business, but also it is a civil servant's job. And so I am here to serve the people of New Jersey through what I understand from my business background.
So today is February 15th, and there were rumblings about you before, but you made a formal announcement today. Now, party operatives are going to say the obvious, and I have to ask you, it seems late. It's already the middle of February for you to announce. React to that. What do you feel about the timing of your announcement?
We're going to come with a message that is not red or blue. And if we can come with a positive message, a message of hope, a message of healing, and a message to bring that New Jersey fighting spirit out, that message is going to get out far and wide pretty quick. It feels like there's a black cloud over America right now. It feels like there's a black cloud specifically over New Jersey between the pandemic and the financial issues that are coming from all the lockdowns. People are looking to get out. And I don't want them to get out of the state of New Jersey. I want them to get out of the state of mind that they're in. And when we bring that message, I believe we have plenty of time for that message to go far and wide.
So it is February 15th. And also you need to make that $490,000 mark by April 4th. Are you feeling confident about that to get matching funds?
Yeah, I'm feeling confident. I'll be honest, if I wasn't confident to reach the benchmark of $490,000, I would not be wasting people's time or money. Don't forget, as a pastor, I have to answer I have to answer to the Lord for my decisions, and I don't think it would be right to waste people's time or money to go for something that has such a high bar if I didn't have a really good sense that we could make it. And I'm pretty confident that we're going to get there.
Okay, so we are coming to you from the New Jersey Women for Trump page. And, this is something that we've done for a while. So obviously a big part of our audience, not everybody, but a big part of our audience are Trump supporters. So that begs the question I have to ask most candidates that come on. Where do you stand with Trump? What has your support or opinion on him been?
Well, last time I was on, you had me tell the story of how President Trump gained my trust, how President Trump gained my support. And it was through the appointment of Neil Gorsuch. And I'm a strong supporter of President Trump. He did an immense amount of work to raise up the average American, to build a strong economy, to stand for our values, constitutional rights, and American exceptionalism. And these are the policies and ideals that still work, and who I'm going to be facing in both the primary and the general. On the other hand, they don't support the president and what he was able to do through his administration for 4 years.
So you've been a supporter of his. You still are a supporter of his?
I am, absolutely, without a doubt.
Okay, so let's switch to the state, right? Because that's where the focus is this year. We only have 2 governor races in this entire nation, us and Virginia. So it's a big deal. All eyes on New Jersey. We have every single seat up. So 120 seats plus the governor's race. It's an amazing year for us. So let's talk about our current governor and his activities in this past year, especially. I want to know where you would stand in different than he has been in things like, let's start with the COVID response.
Sure. I think the COVID response was an economic response to a medical situation. And if you add up all the dollars spent and the dollars wasted and the dollars lost in our lockdowns for the past 10 and a half, 11 months, if just a fraction of that was put towards resources where we needed them, I believe the ability to protect those that were most vulnerable. Don't forget. I mean, we've been through a lot in 2020 and early here in 2021. Let's not forget when the news started breaking that coronavirus was in America. It was out in Washington State when a bunch of people in an old age home had passed away. It was the elderly from the very beginning. And to shut down small businesses, to shut down churches, to shut down the entire New Jersey economy when we knew that there was a portion of the population that was vulnerable, I believe the current administration botched this thing from the word go.
So I know that you did not shut down your church. Tell us about that decision.
Well, I believe in the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. And when the current administration decided that church was not essential, yet the liquor store was, I knew right off the bat I was going to follow the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, not an unlawful executive order from somebody who was just power hungry to impose his will on New Jersey residents. And I don't remember if it was the last time I was on with you. I said our new storefront church that we started back in October of 2019, if the marquee above the door said City Liquors, it would have been essential, but because it said City Baptist, it was closed.
Right.
Well, that wasn't happening on my watch.
So you guys stayed open. You also live streamed, and you never had any pushback from the state on that. You were able to pull that off.
Absolutely, yeah. We just had church. We had a couple people ask us what we were doing, and very confidently, and again, I believe we had the law on our side, very confidently to say, we're having church. You're welcome to come in, or you could live stream, whatever you prefer. It's great meeting you, but we'd love to have you join us one way or another. And that was pretty much the end of that.
Yeah. Well, this is part of, we talk about Murphy's overreach, right? And those that know the New Jersey Constitution know that he, by our Constitution, is one of the most powerful governors in the country. And I don't think anyone gave pause to that before, but now this has really come back to haunt us. So one of the questions when I ask people all the time, what do you want to ask of the governor's candidates? What do you want to ask? One of the questions is always, how will you reduce the power of the governor? Now, the how and the specifics of that, that comes with policy and all of that, but we really need to address this. What's your opinion on his powers and how he's used them?
Sure. Well, I think it's plain to see that the decisions he's made that have cost almost 8,000 people their lives with bad policy by requiring COVID positive patients to go into healthcare facilities. I think 1/3 of New Jersey businesses literally being bankrupt in less than a year.
Right.
I think it's plainly obvious that he is a heavy-handed overreactor. And unfortunately, some would say that he has the power to do that. Now, I don't believe that the Constitution and the Bill of Rights is suspended under the guise of a virus. Now, I'm not diminishing coronavirus. My father just got out of the hospital. He was in the hospital for 8 days. He struggled with it for about 3 weeks before he went into the hospital. And now he's out and he's recovering. So I'm not minimizing the virus, but the idea that just 30-day after 30-day after 30-day after 30-day renewal, it's not fair, quite honestly. Some people would say life is not fair, and that's true. But there's some injustice in one person that can rule with executive order and the power of a pen. I don't believe in that at all, and we'll have to rein that in, and I'll have to be in office in order to do that. But yeah, absolutely, I would totally think that a revamping and limiting the powers of the government, whether Democrat or Republican, is a healthier situation for all people in New Jersey.
Yeah, we want to ask all the governor candidates to commit to doing that in some way. And speaking of the power of his pen, Murphy's pen is about to potentially sign something that was passed by both houses. And that's the teaching diversity in schools to our students. And when that bill was introduced originally earlier this year, it was high school, like 9 through 12. It has now been amended. And most people listening, because parents have gotten upset. So most people know about this, but more need to know that it was extended to kindergarten. And what it really is, I called an indoctrination bill. What it really is teaching children as young as kindergarten about sexual orientation and all the things that go with that. That passed both houses. Murphy's ready to sign it. What do you say about that bill?
Well, I've been saying as I've been traveling around New Jersey that the current administration doesn't believe in the front door of the homes of people in New Jersey. They don't believe that families get to teach their children about values that they want them to understand, things that should be spoken about at the dinner table. Phil Murphy believes should be taught at the school desk. And they've gone way beyond education. They're deep into indoctrination, not education. And quite honestly, you mentioned the 120 seats that are up. I'll be honest with you, I am extremely dissatisfied that this has passed the way that it has with some bipartisan support. I mean, there's some legislators with R's after their name that have signed this, and I'm not happy about it. And I'll be having some talks with them, and I'll be expressing my concerns that they would push that kind of education down onto a bunch of 5 and 6 year olds right off the bat. That's crazy.
Yeah, well, it passed. I think it was on the 11th of January. So I'm assuming he will imminently be signing it, but it's of great concern to a lot of parents. And along that line, another bill that we've got to fight and we're dealing with, it's been introduced, is S3030. And because that's focused on reproductive rights, I want you to talk about your position, not only on that bill, but just in general, your position on the life issue.
Sure. I've been declaring that I will debate anybody in America on this bill. I propose that it's the most wicked, vile piece of legislation in all of America. The details of this bill will would shock you to your core. And it's amazing that it's coming through Trenton and people don't know what it is. It's basically a license to kill bill, and it is termination of a pregnancy to the moment before birth. And even beyond that, some of the language talks about there being no prosecution for not getting medical attention for a baby that is born outside of a medical facility. Somebody could birth a baby at home, put the baby on the floor or in the trash can, and there's no prosecution for not getting that child medical attention. I would debate anybody on the validity of that bill. And quite honestly, you did mention, generally speaking, the life issue. If our founding fathers were right, and they are, that there are truths that are self-evident.
Yeah.
And they're self-evident. The common language for that is any idiot can understand this. Okay, they are self-evident that these rights are given to us by our Creator: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And if we can't get the issue of life right, then liberty and the pursuit of happiness are irrelevant if you're dead. And so for me, life is a huge issue. It was a big issue to our founding fathers. It's a big issue to conservatives and GOP voters around the country. And it's certainly right in the lane that I'm running. So
let's talk also about something that's very fundamental to our founding fathers, and that's the Second Amendment. Where do you stand on 2A? What has your support been, and what do you plan to do with that?
It's so funny on social media today and our emails. Today's just been awesome, but there's been so much support and so much excitement about the launching of our campaign. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten either a direct message or an email or something asking me, where do you stand on life and guns? And when I have opportunity to start responding to these questions, I am all in on life, and I'm all in on the Second Amendment. As a pastor, obviously, I believe very strongly in the First Amendment, hence not closing our church during the mandated lockdowns. But, I don't need a license to preach. I don't need a license for free speech. But for some reason, they say we need a license to exercise our Second Amendment. To me, that doesn't sound right. Although the rules in New Jersey is that a permit is required, I could disagree with that, but I play by the rules, and I've gone through the process, and there's less than 1,000 people in New Jersey that have a New Jersey concealed carry permit, and I am one of them. And so the fact that I didn't close our church shows where I stand on the First Amendment. The fact that I have obtained a New Jersey concealed carry permit shows where I stand on the Second Amendment, and the fact that I'm a pastor and some of the things that I've laid out for you let you know where I stand on life. And those are three huge questions. So I'm glad to answer them again here.
Okay, so I have to react to the concealed carry permit because one thing I learned about you that I didn't know when you first came on the show is that you're missing the lower part of one of your arms. So first of all, I want you to tell that story, but also how does someone who's missing one arm qualify for a concealed carry permit? I mean, that's amazing to me.
Well, back in 1980, and I apologize, I snuck that in on you last time we were on. Back in 1980, I had a home accident that left the lower half of my arm. The artery was severely crushed and no blood was flowing to the lower half of my arm. And so they didn't have the medical advancements, and it led to an amputation. Since then, I've obviously excelled and succeeded to get to 44 years old. I tie my own shoes. I can zip my own coat. I tie my own tie.
Wow.
I also played high school football and baseball at Morris Catholic in Denville. And so I've been able to overcome and fight through those challenges. But that's just part of my story. And the same is true when it comes to operating a firearm. I just work really hard. I practice. I want to do it in a safe way. I believe we need more gun ranges around New Jersey for people to practice and to be able to hone that skill. If you're going to carry a firearm, you better learn to do it safely. I'm a big Second Amendment guy, but you have to be careful with a firearm, just like I'm for the First Amendment. We've got to be careful with our words. And so I practice at home, and I think it's vitally important to be safe.
Wow, that's an amazing story. So you missing your arm, I mean, you willingly talk about it. You surprised me with that last time. Thank you. But how did that impact you? Because I can't imagine, you were 4 years old. So growing up like that, the adjustments you had to make, I can't relate to that. I want to understand maybe what mindset you have as a result of someone missing an arm really for your entire life.
Yeah, well, certain people are made in a certain way, and there's some God-given inherent leadership and type A kind of skills that I have, and that's just the way God made me. But through learning and coming up in life, through some of just the basic things that you have to do, I just have to work harder than everybody else. I've got to fight and overcome those things. I've said on the trail here and doing some exploratory work through our exploratory committee, I've given this explanation. I've asked this question. I don't know how many people have had to learn to run through a brick wall to tie their shoes, or to summit a mountaintop in order to learn to zip their coat, or hit a baseball with one hand, on a bat. Or, quite honestly, as a lefty, they wanted me pitching. So you can imagine the hours of hard work, the fight, and the determination I've had to have in every area of my life to pitch in high school and through grammar school, to have my hand with a ball in it without the glove pitch and get it on in time in case a line drive came back. So that's just sports stuff, but it has created me who I am today, to fight. And now I want to bring that fight, and I want to bring that determination to the people of New Jersey to overcome what they're facing. And it's a lot of fear. It's a lot of injustice of what's going on. And if they'd let me, I'd love to fight for them.
Yeah, well, a lot of the fear is related to small businesses too. I'm a small business owner. I know a lot of people who are, and we wonder, are we going to be able to stay here? I mean, Murphy was the decider of who stays open, who doesn't. And it's now going to be a year very soon of 2 weeks to flatten the curve. He gave us 2 weeks to flatten the curve. And we're going to be up here on a year very soon before we know it. So how do we support small businesses? What do we do for them? How do we keep them open? I mean, they drive the backbone of this economy. We've got to pay attention to them. And I don't feel that Murphy cares. What would you do to help small businesses survive and make sure that they don't either close their doors or move to Florida, Texas, Tennessee? Is there another state right now? Those are the three, right? States that everyone's going to. We really need to address that soon. What would you do to address that?
Well, again, as a small government conservative, I never would have closed the state economically the way that it was in the first place. I've heard my GOP competitor saying that he'd be at 50% restaurant capacity already. I never would have been below 100. I believe that if a restaurant owner wants to limit their capacity, they could shut it down. They could close it. I support their decision as a business owner. They know what they can handle financially. If they want to close it down to zero, they can. If they want to do 25%, 50%, or if they want to run at full capacity. See, I believe in capitalism, and I believe that people will let them know what they want. And if people don't visit a restaurant that's open at 100%, the owner then has a decision to make. Hey, you know what? Let's get some tables and chairs out of here because people are uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. It's amazing that capitalism has a way of finding the balance of the market.
Yes,
and
it does.
We've just not been doing that here in New Jersey at all. And so we've got to get everything back open. Our kids have to get back to school.
Please.
In Nevada, I mean, they didn't, in one of the districts in Nevada, they didn't open up until, a certain amount of kids had taken their own lives. I mean, what are we waiting for in New Jersey? Are we waiting for the statistics of children taking their own lives, which will force the hand of a district to open up. It's crazy. We've got to stop pushing fear, and we got to start being transparent with people so that they know what they're dealing with. And then they can decide for themselves from there. But the government's job is not to keep us healthy. It's to keep us free. And the doctors are to keep us healthy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, somehow that got jumbled up, right? Never in a million years did I think the governor of the state I lived in was going to make a determination on how my children in high school experienced their school, right? That they could go to prom, not go to prom, graduate, not graduate, have sports, not have sports. I'm outraged by that, and it doesn't seem to be ending anytime soon. We need some controls there. So I have a few more questions for you. I've got a lot of people watching right now, and they want to know about what you would do about election integrity. Now, listen, I can tell you personally how hard it was last fall to get Republicans to turn their ballots in and early, right? Because we had to do this. It was vote by mail, and we had to play the game that he gave us. Now you add to that what appears to be fraud. We can argue it any way you want, but no one feels comfortable anymore, or at least a lot of people don't, about the integrity of their vote. So what do we do? Can we get voter ID cards? What would you do to fix the election integrity system?
Well, I'm well aware of a lot of work that's been going on throughout the state. I know that there's groups that are going through voter rolls. They're cleaning up voter rolls, getting dead people off the rolls. They're getting, if a woman gets married, she's getting 2 ballots, one in her maiden name, one in her married name. They are working diligently to clean up the voter rolls. I would be all for fair elections. I already mentioned there's an injustice that people really are not happy with. People are okay losing. People aren't okay being cheated. Right. And so I'm for getting Dominion machines out of here. I am for voting in person. I would be for voter ID. Just why not create fairness? Why not create benchmarks? We talk about the Second Amendment. I don't think you should have to have a permit for that. They say you do, but apparently you don't need some sort of ID to vote and decide. It's just there's a lot of inconsistencies. It's just not intellectually honest.
Yeah. Yeah, and you've got so many citizens taking on voter roll cleanup. I know so many groups right now, including my own county, and I'm involved in it. Why am I doing this work? Why are other people doing this work? Why shouldn't the state be doing this work, right? And in some states, it's mandated that they do it every 2 years. It would be nice to see that in New Jersey. So talk about the police, talk about where you stand in terms of your support of law enforcement. That was a big, topic du jour this summer, but it really hasn't left our party because it was so intense. We need to talk about each person's stance on what they would do regarding the support of law enforcement.
Sure. I have law enforcement officers in my family. I've got a cousin who's a state trooper. I have another cousin who's local police. My father's cousin was FBI in Manhattan. We have law enforcement in our family. And, these guys and these girls, they want to get home to their families every night. And they are regular people that are for, again, here we go, bringing justice, right? And we're tying their hands. We're having them ticket churches, but we're having them stand down for BLM rallies. I mean, that is just insanity. We need to allow a consistent and uniform enforcement of the law, and we need to have somebody who looks upon them favorably. I fully support our police, and you'll always have the people screaming, "Well, what about this guy and what about this girl?" Listen, there's bad apples in every bunch, and so I'm against anybody who does something wrong. As a pastor, as I preach on sin, I always say, listen, this is starting on this side of the pulpit, all right, before it goes there. So I know nobody is perfect. And if somebody's abusing their power, they've got to go. But overall, our men and women that are in law enforcement are good people. And I support the blue. all the way. So that's important for us to bring that. If you have two choices between being over-policed or under-policed, I'll tell you, there's a lot of communities that would rather be over-policed because it could get crazy out there. We've seen a lot of that last summer when the police were told to stand down. That's not where I want to see New Jersey go at all.
Okay, great, Phil. That's awesome. Well, we're coming to the end of the 30 minutes, and I always promise my guests just 30 minutes. So if you could wrap up for us and, share with us just succinctly why someone should get interested in supporting you for this primary, why you're so focused on and obviously excited about running for governor. Give us that summary and then tell us where everyone can go to get more information on you.
Sure. Well, everybody knows that government in a lot of ways is broken from the national scene down to the state scene that we have going on in here in New Jersey. And listen, same old party politics is not going to get it done. We need an outsider. We need somebody with a business background, somebody who's used to being a servant of the people, somebody that is not in it for being a career politician. I have no hopes beyond the governor. A lot of people come up, they just climb that political ladder. I am not looking to make a career out of this. I am looking to serve our state, get it back on track, bring healing, hope, and point it in the right direction, and then get back to things that I've been doing before. And so if people want information about our campaign and what's going on, how they can help, it is JerseyRizzo.com, JerseyRizzo.com. You can sign up to be a volunteer, make phone calls. You can donate there. And we know that this is going to be a big race against someone like Phil Murphy. And this is going to take a team effort. And we look forward to everybody joining the team. We've got tons and tons of emails to go through. Trust me, we're getting to them. You may hear from us on Wednesday, but we're trying to compile them and getting back to each and every person. It might take us a day or two, though.
Well, great. Well, Phil, again, I thank you for coming on such short notice. Congratulations on your announcement. And, hopefully in the next few weeks or month or two, we will do a candidates forum for the governor's race. So we will ask you if you can come back on at that point with all the others running in the Republican primary. So we look forward to that. And again, congratulations. Best to you. And we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much for having me and letting me talk to your audience.
All right. Thanks, Phil. Guys, we'll see you next week.